a wide-ranging partnership with the greatest golfer ever, Tiger Woods.
Yeah, a transformational figure, really. It's a cherry on top of our golf strategy. As you know, we're in business with the PGA Tour everywhere in the world. Globally, we own the tour with Jay Monahan and the PGA Tour. It's a long-term partnership. And what we're trying to do is really create a golf Netflix, create an ecosystem where everyone in the world that loves golf can get everything they want on the phone or on Eurosport in Europe, or as we put it on our channels around the world.
We're going to talk to Tiger, obviously. But
that's why I'm here, because I brought Tiger, isn't it?
I know. Actually, that is why you're here. No. You could be here. You could be here either way. But initially, I was just struck that a guy who's so private and has always been so private and so focused and with only one thing in mind, and that's winning tournaments. 80 tournaments he's won. Probably, I don't know if I would have thought he was going to beat Jack on the majors, but I think he's got a chance again. With
he's playing,
the way he's playing.
He's playing
again,
great.
Right?
He's determined.
I looked at what it's going to, it almost sounds like a reality show starring Tiger, but it's going to be mostly about him trying to bring his knowledge about golf to everyone else who's been a fan for a long time. It's more about that than watching him eat dinner or something like that.
Well, it's multifaceted. It fits our strategy. A couple of years ago, we got into business with Oprah Winfrey. So we're in business with Oprah globally. When we bought Scripps, food, HGTV, travel, people thought we bought linear channels, but we bought IP. We own food everywhere in the world, HG everywhere, HG home everywhere in the world, travel everywhere in the world. We have natural history with Discovery. And so for us, we really took a big pivot 4 or 5 years ago where we went from a nonfiction company, traditional nonfiction company, to asking ourselves, how do we create content that people would want if they could want anything? If they could see anything. And it was a world that at that point people thought, why is Discovery getting into sports? Why'd they buy Eurosport? Why do they own all the cycling and all the tennis in Europe? Why'd they do the Olympics? But we see golf, and particularly with Tiger, tennis, cycling, the Olympics, food, home, natural history. The rest of the media business is in scripted. Disney and Bob Iger, maybe the best media company in the world when it comes to scripted and traditional storytelling.
5 years ago, a guy that obviously has had a big part of your life, and maybe one of the clearest thinkers in all of media, John Malone, did he really ask you if people can watch anything they want at any time? Do you? That's a big question. Do you have the content where people are going to have that? That must have shook you a little, but it definitely moved you into action.
Malone is a gift because he's like Bobby Fischer. He sees the future. He's brilliant, and he has conviction. And he did see when we were on a roll. We had taken our stock from 15 to almost 90. Everything was working great for us. We had 10 channels everywhere in the world. And John said, is our content good enough? When people could watch anything, will they watch us? And so we really completely shifted. And Tiger is really an important part of that strategy because we think people love golf everywhere in the world. So think about China. 2 of the best players on the PGA Tour are from China. We own all the golf in China. And they love Tiger. 2 weeks ago, we did a deal with Chip and Joanna Gaines from Fixer Upper and Magnolia. 2 fantastic, authentic, great personalities. They're back in our family. And so we seed this whole idea of scripted. There's loads of people in that space and they're fighting over it. And for us, that's kind of like the soccer ball in a kid's game. We're the rest of the field. So if people love food content or golf, so I think we have a real chance.
When do you think the other players decide that they need this? Because the big question's always been, do you need more scale, or in terms of independence, would somebody look at this and say, actually, you know what, there's a global play here?
We believe that we hope, we don't know, we hope that we're where the ball is going to be. And so if Apple says at some point, or Google, or any of the FANG companies, or any of the big media companies,
that's what I'm thinking.
Say globally, who's above the globe?
Right.
The FANG companies, they're so powerful because they're above the globe. They could reach everywhere in the world. The only media company that's truly above the globe, that has IP rights everywhere in the world, is Discovery. So we basically have a menu, whether it's food, home, natural history, golf. So we think we're moving in a space
where... Is
that
an argument for one of them to potentially try and buy you, or to try and compete with you by trying to copy what you're doing?
Well, for us, we hope we're sustainable. We're growing very effectively, but we haven't overinvested in content because we do believe that we need to reach these 4 billion devices. And the best way to reach that is to have stuff that people really, really want. People love Oprah, so they can pull Oprah and they can get her. Right. If people love tennis, they can pull it.
The reason I was asking the question was, I just wonder whether either a digital player or somebody else, that there's a benefit to having golf, by the way, globally, or there's a benefit to having the Olympics globally under one umbrella, and sort of how you think about that.
Well, look, this business started with cable systems around the world. Then it went to satellites. The companies that have created the most value for shareholders are the global companies because of the leverage. And so what we're doing is we're saying we think owning all of this global IP, we can partner up very effectively. We don't need to sell. We can partner up with any one of them. We can do a natural history global business with Google or Apple. We can go in business with Oprah ourselves, and we can together, Oprah and I can reach every regional player in the world.
Part of what you've done is to team with these personalities people love, which maybe that makes you a little immune from some of the rights strategies down the road that other players are kind of competing with. If you own a Tiger or an Oprah or a Chip and Joanna Gaines.
We don't own them, we partner with them.
But you own that space with them, and people look at you and think,
because people
that's
love
the way to get to those
people. They want to, people fall in love with great stories and with people. If you think about the media business and the rush to Netflix, HBO, Hulu, those are all great plays. Disney buying Rupert's company, and he's going to build a product that looks a lot like it. If you're sitting at home, whether you're young or old, and you want to spend $10 to $15 and get scripted series and movies, there's going to be 10 choices for that. And the movies are starting to be commoditized. The same movies are on each platform. If you want something else, if you want to see golf, or if you want to see natural history, so that's our bet. Our bet is that we're completely different than the rest of the guys, and that we have super fans that have an affinity for our stuff.
Do you think that fans will pay the same kind of money that they pay for a scripted series programming? Meaning all of these sort of binge programming people are playing for whether it's Netflix at $9.99 or now $11.99, whatever you think Disney does, whatever. In terms of the price point, do you think there's a different price point for that kind of what's traditionally called very expensive content relative to other more either reality or other kind of related?
Our content costs about $400,000 to $500,000 an hour. Scripted is anywhere from $5 million to $10 million, so it's a lot more expensive, and it's getting more expensive. So one, we have a much more efficient model. The answer is we could actually charge less. Here in the U.S., we have 18 channels, so we're the second biggest TV company in America. When you look at our 18 channels, the amount that we charge for those 18 channels is less than one regional sports network. And so our costs are less, but we can make a lot of money even if we charge less. So that's one of the reasons why we're on every skinny bundle. We have great channels, but we're not that expensive.
I can't believe you're back to content. We're back after all this. It's back to content.
That's how we started together, Joe.
Started on, and here we are.
Me, you, and Becky. We were on boxes.
How do we do it?
Well, Becky came a little later. Becky's a little younger.
All the discussions.
Becky's a little younger than us.
She is. All the discussions about all this other stuff, and you're right back.
Because that's the business that we're in. We need to get great characters and great stories, and create great brands that people will say when they can watch anything. That's what I want to watch.
Did you misspeak when you said the greatest company was? Did you say Disney or Comcast? I misunderstood what you.
Let me tell you.
NBC
say? Universal, where
I spent
Disney. 18 years with you guys.
You misspoke.
I'll say that Brian is an amazing media leader, and it's a fantastic company. More.
And Steve.
I love this place.
No, this is great, and this is content. And you were pointing to us when you said we need characters that people.
That's it. That's why this works. People love you guys, even when you argue.
No. That's very rare.